Yeah, welcome to Unified Dropping Gems Podcast.
Yes, Unified Media Podcast, Season 4, Episode 3, with Moving On, Moving Forward. We begin this episode with touching base on the topic of moving on and moving forward. Why are those decisions made? How can it change your life? And what kind of actions you must take during that process? Like and share this video to those who will find this information useful. Tune into the show once a week, every Sunday, a little after 8 p.m. Eastern Time, live on YouTube, where we have raw, uncut, open discussions that can range with insightful and educational information across the board. Other episodes will include past and current events, trending topics, conspiracies, personal journey, and more. We also like to invite special guests to shed light on who they are and what professional industry they are in. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, email droppinggemspodcasting@gmail.com with your name, business, industry, social media info, and brief bio. Hosted by yours truly, JL The Truth and Aki ONCL Dewan. Support the show by subscribing to the channel and hitting the notification bell. Aki, we are here.
Yeah, support the show. My apologies, fam. My apologies, fam. I got a lot of stuff going on. Just moved into the new place, so I got family members that want to come. They want to check in on me, check in, see how it's going. I was chopping it up with my dad, and we had an interesting conversation because it was somewhat close to what we were speaking to in regards to today, about moving on and moving forward, because we realized that the time has changed, right? From when we were younger and children to now, those of us who have children, what we're dealing with, what we have to do, what we're being mindful of, how we raise our children and things like that. Because part of moving forward and moving on is progression. That means moving and becoming more advanced, right? So I was speaking to advancement last Sunday, when I was during the Feast of Weeks. I was speaking to it, what it means to be advanced and to have an advanced mindset and in a mind state. And part of that is progression and moving forward and getting past something, right? Ranking up, going to the next level. See, a lot of times what happens when it comes down to moving on and moving forward, we tend to forget that in order to move forward, you have to progress. And in order to and part of progressing is moving from one place to another, going from being a certain way, an old way, to becoming a new way, a new style on how you do stuff, or a new way of doing it, a new approach, better for words. So we was having that conversation. So my apologies. I want to bring that, what I was saying over there, into the show too, because it kind of all ties into each other.
Love that. Love that, Aki. Love it. Guy having a little hiccup over here with my.
Hey man, look, I gotta upgrade me a new mic, little desk mic, man, because my microphone works good, but the thing that holds it is falling apart now. Look, I've been using the same one. I've been using the same one since you know what I mean? So, but it's all good. But yeah, man. Chat, how y'all doing, man? Welcome in. Scott in charge. Phelan, Jamie, welcome in. I appreciate y'all. Sorry about the long wait. What's up, Max?
Yo.
Hey, so but yeah, moving on and moving forward, man. Like it's a great topic and subject, only truly because stagnation is. I mean, if you understand what and know what that word mean, it sometimes it's a little bit more than just comfortable, right? When somebody's comfortable, they can be considered stagnant because they're in a position where they don't want to move. They don't want to progress. They don't want to move forward. But stagnation, it doesn't do or serve a great purpose in life unless it's designed specifically. Like, it's okay to be stagnant because you're patient. You know what I'm saying? So you don't want to get you don't want to get the two confused. Being patient, you're awaiting the time or the opportunity. Being stagnant, you're not looking forward to doing anything. You want to stay exactly where you are and do exactly what you're doing and not change anything. And that right there is not cool. That's what we don't want to focus on. We want to focus on change, moving forward, what it looks like, what it feels like. How do you do that, right? How do you move forward and progress? Well, first you got to figure out what steps is needed to be taken, right? And then after you find out what steps or how many steps is needed to be taken, it's all about taking that first step. Taking that first step allows you the opportunity to advance from step 1 to step 2. And then once you go from step 2, now you get the opportunity to go step 2 to step 3, right? And all of those things looks different based on the person, the personality, what you're trying to do. Like, for example, if you're trying to create a movie, first step is writing the script. How do you know what you want to talk about, right? And now I'm no expert in this, but just as a basic understanding of it, in order to get a movie done, you must first create the cast, the scenes, create the storyline, the storyboard, right? All of those things are needed. But now here it is. Now you've taken this first step into starting your movie, right? Now, once you get all of those things done, what you need to do next now, cast the members, find out who's going to play who role, what they're going to do, things like that. Boom, you have an audition. Boom. Then the next step is now movie day, time to start shooting the movie, start shooting the scenes, right? Or even before then, you might be rehearse all of the scenes before starting to shoot the film. You know what I mean? I'm just giving that as an example, but everything requires you to start. Once you get out of the bed, once you open your eyes in the morning, first thing you need to do, you should be doing, is giving thanks for being able to wake up. One, if you don't do that, that's fine. But the one thing you're doing next, right? You're moving to get out of the bed. If you want to be stagnant and you like being stagnation is something that you enjoy, you would stay in the bed. You wouldn't get out of the bed, right? You wouldn't move forward to or advance to the next step or to the next thing. So, wanting to move on and move forward is very vital in nowadays.
Now we can go ahead and break down moving on and moving forward and put it into different categories and different senses, right? You can move on from a friendship or a relationship. Right. Let's start there. And if anybody's in the chat would like to intervene and let us know a relationship or friendship that you moved on from, and what pretense, what occurred during that interaction with that friend or relationship to make you want to move on from it. I get a lot of, for instance, my community is 90% female based, right? So a lot of the relationships that they have with their spouses, their ex-boyfriends, their husbands, prior relationships with the opposite sex or the same sex.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of what women tell me, why they let them go, why they had to move on from that friendship or relationship, has to do with the lack of communication, lack of love, lack of honesty, transparency, support, or as simple as infidelity. You know what I mean? Welcome in. Gotcha. Scott, Fallon, Jamie, Aaron, thank you for being here. If you guys can share it out, like the chat, etc., I appreciate it. Thank you, Unified, for tapping in. We can go as far and as deep as that, right? With moving on from certain relationships that have caused you trauma and have been traumatic with an experience, and you try to find ways to heal from these traumas and these experiences. And most of the time, what women do, or even men, right? What we do is like, we'll do one or two things. We'll stay single for quite some time,
Mm-hmm.
right? And heal that way, whether it be traveling or entertaining something else, or
Mm-hmm.
rebound. There can be a such thing as a rebound, right?
Man.
Where you try to utilize a new relationship as a way to forget about a prior relationship. But what's so difficult, right, is that you treat the new relationship differently because now your guard is up. You know what I mean? And you don't give that person an opportunity to showcase their true intentions, their attributes, their strengths, etc. Because now your guard is extremely up. Michelle, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. So in a sense, we move on, but do we really move on? If we're holding on to the past of that previous relationship and not giving an opportunity to someone new in our life to make our life experience better.
Right.
Have we really moved on?
Nah, sometimes moving on is a tough thing because, especially when it comes down to today and the way times are, people love attachment. Attachment is vital because nobody wants to be alone. First of all, nobody wants to be alone in anything. And if they do say they want to be alone, they're on a different mission, and that's the reason why they want to be alone, right? But nobody truly wants to be alone. Everyone wants to share their happiness with someone or somebody, what I'm saying, with a few people. Everybody wants to share their happiness. So, it's very tough to move on, like you stated earlier, when you're holding on to something or you're treating the next thing that they're into like what you just left. But the only difference is you're more skeptical, you have a more cautionary approach, and you do things you do things just to try to prevent. But what I want to point out too is in how moving on, when trying to move on, is when you don't heal yourself and you try to move on by asserting yourself back in a situation and just moving differently about it so fast and quickly, you leave yourself open to judge the other person and what they can potentially be doing, right? Because sometimes what happens in the new way you try to do things in your new relationship, you express everything that you went through your old one and what you don't want, and what you're actually looking for. And if this person starts showing signs that they never actually healed, or they start showing a little bit of signs of what they want and what they're trying to do, you instantly get your guard up. Then you don't allow that person to honestly be able to show you, where you could help them out at either. You definitely have to heal, because see, again, even though you may be approaching the situation the same differently because it's a different person, the principal concept of it, the principal idea of it, is that in a relationship, it requires two people to communicate and express themselves on what they're feeling, how they feeling, and to ask questions, right? And if you're not a person that asks yourself questions a lot, then you won't be able to have many questions to ask to the other person. Or what happens is that in this new relationship, now you're answering or asking all of these questions just to see their response to what you priorly went through. So therefore, if their answer doesn't amount to the answer you're looking for, you easily know, okay, this is not going to work. I'm leaving this situation, or this is not going to work. I don't want to deal with this person. This person hasn't, been through what I've been through, so they don't understand these things. And so what happens is, now, instead of you you and this new person building a strong relationship. The relationship is built off of caution things, and it's shaky already, and it does. What's just going to happen is now you're going to find yourself back in that same situation where now you have to dismiss yourself from this relationship and go figure out what was going on, and how come you can't be happy, or how come nobody's looking for what you're looking for in the relationship. So this is why it's very important when it comes to before moving on, and you really take some time to yourself and understand who you are, what happened, what did you do, what did that person do, what did you ask, did you allow time, did you have patience for this person, did you tell them, hey, this is what I'm looking for, and then did you allow them the time to start doing that, did you allow them the opportunity to make that adjustment, did you allow these things? When you start recognizing these things and learning and healing from those, like, hey, you can't control a person, but you can control how you interact with a person. Then that's where your ability to move on and to become happy happens. But moving on or trying to have a rebound is like in basketball. Once you go up and go get the rebound, it's your job to go back and score again. And if this is what you're going to keep doing, if that's the only reason why you've gotten with this person is just to get a score again, then that's never going to work, because once you're done scoring and the game is over, there's no more buckets to score.
Oh,
So now that relationship is done again. So you're back in the same cycle.
Love that. Powerful perspective. Now, everybody in the chat is talking about, it's all about healing first. Healing is more important. I have found that you have to forgive to start the healing process. You learn through pain. I'm going through it right now with my spouse. You have to be happy with yourself before you can be happy with someone else. No one person is ever going to make you truly happy. Very powerful stuff that everybody in the chat is feeling. Now, I wanna go through what Scott and Emmy is mentioning right now. Scott is going through the motions right now at the moment. Scott, can you let us know in the chat what it is that you're going through during this similar experience? And Emmy says she's going through it right now with her spouse. How does before I break down my situation, how do you break down, Aki, in you living with the person and trying to find a medium in moving, like, you don't want to leave the person, but it's not truly what's the word I'm looking for, beneficial to have the relationship, even if you have children, right? It's not healthy is the word I'm looking for. It's not a healthy relationship just to keep a relationship just because you have children. Somebody like Fallon mentioned to me that she had to leave the kids the kid's father, or whatever the case may be, and she hasn't been in a serious relationship since. What does it take for someone to have the strength that even when you love someone so much, right, and you look past the trauma, the negative experiences, the infidelity, the verbal, the mental abuse, the physical abuse, and people still stick around, but where do you find that, when does it trigger for someone to just go, I'm just going to pick up my bags and move on? Because it takes a lot for us to, like, really, really settle into that decision. Even me and my wife right now, we're going through marriage counseling, and, we've been together for, almost 2 decades. And there's been times where I'm sure she's been easily wanted to walk out, and me, myself, easily wanting to walk out. It's almost like, in simple terms, easier said than done. How does someone find, what does it take for someone to have the energy and the will to say, all right, I'm just going to get up and I got to go? I know there's a lot there to kind of
no.
The premise is just like, what if you're going through it, I mean, you're sitting in the storm, it's a shit show, you're leaving work, you're coming home, it's a shit show, and like, but people say love is blind, and then they say love is pain, and you're dealing with it constantly, all the different forms of abuse, but you still don't leave. What does it take to leave?
I'll put it to you like this. It really takes just you understanding the pros and cons of the situation. Is it more beneficial to stay because whatever the situation is it more beneficial to stay here and try to work through it and find different avenues and means and ways of working through it, or is it more beneficial to leave because you've exhausted all of your resources on how or how or or on how to try to stay, or what you can do to stay, right? Because see, prior to me being with the woman I'm with now, prior to that, I had a relationship like that. I was dealing with someone, and I didn't have to really be dealing with this person. They didn't have to really be dealing with me. This person had children. I had none. This person has, other people who they had their children by. I took on some of those problems, right? I could have easily been left. I having people telling me, hey, you shouldn't, that's not going to end well. This is going to do this. This is going to do that. I had all of these people telling me certain things, but I didn't hear it because I had to see for myself. And excuse me, in that situation, there have been many of times where it was just easy. It would have been easier for me to pack up and leave. But because internally I wanted to figure out, I've always been in a position where it was easy for me to leave and I just left, right? It didn't take nothing because there was no true attachment. So it was easy for me to leave. Once I got in that place where there was an attachment, it became harder to leave because I wasn't leaving just for my happiness and happiness sake. I was also me leaving would have made me one happy, but somebody else sad who had nothing to do with what me and this person was dealing with. Right. So I had to look at, all right, let me figure out a way. How can we work through this? Right. But what made it more easier for me was because once we talked, once we conversate, once we made, had the time to say what could be done and made change, what change could be made, and the time allotted was there for that change to be made, but the change never took place, the effort never was put in, then the decision to leave became easier because now the respect was no longer there. Once a person loses respect for you, it's kind of hard to ever get that back because they have to give you that time to earn it back, right? So, but once it was gone, there was, okay, the respect is gone. The love ain't there no more. And love is the most powerful thing because love is pain, love is change, love is happiness, love is sadness, love is all of these different things because love is an action word. It causes an effect. An effect is a result, right? So once that's gone, your ability to create a result is gone. Then you have no other choice but to leave because there is no more results that can come of it. That's the only option and result that's going to come out of it is leaving. And you have to be able to know which one is which. And this requires you to critically think about what you can do yourself as a person to help the situation become better. If it's something you're doing or you want to do, you have to be willing to do it. If you're trying to force the other person to do it, you have to accept the fact that you can't make somebody do something. You can only show them the benefit of what will happen when they do it. And if they decide to do it, then that helps. But if they decide not to do it, then you have to be able to accept that they didn't want to, even though you did. So it's not on you, it's on them. You know what I'm saying? And that right there is what you want to pay attention. That can be your determining factor.
Powerful stuff. Michelle says, at first, moving on from a person can seem like a loss or mourning. But when we start maturing what we learn, what's to gain from the person being removed, and you start to see the loss or removal as a blessing. Emmy says here, Yes, it is not healthy, but I'm still here because of my children. But sometimes I just want to pack up and leave. Fallon says, I found that when my kids saw men and my ex miserable and we were arguing, it made them unhappy. So it made it easier for her to leave. I really think you have to weigh the pros and cons of the relationship. When someone falls out of love with you, but you're still in love with them, it's the worst pain.
It is.
I
It is.
wanna reflect on some of these comments real quick, starting with what Michelle says when she says that, you know, at first glance you're gonna see the loss. It's gonna be painful. It's gonna be hurtful, right? Even in the case of what Scott said, right? When you lose somebody, it hurts, especially when you're still in love. But then after, if Scott found a way to take that pain and applied it, um, to possibly strengthen what the discrepancy was. Like, there's weaknesses in each spouse, right? And if there's a split that occurs, if you as the male have the awareness to say, these were my faults, these were my weaknesses. Let me go ahead and apply myself differently moving forward. Maybe even looking at the relationship and finding a way to start fresh anew, start off as friends again, right? And then once you start off as friends, start applying those differences into this new friendship, right? And then maybe it might blossom again, where you guys can then find the love can be renewed, so to speak, rekindled, right? um During that process of pain where you're away from this person and then you guys are just friends, she now lives somewhere, you now live somewhere. um Take time for yourself to make yourself better, whether it means going to the gym, eating better, applying yourself differently, picking up better habits, uh so that way when you do rekindle that friendship to turn it back into a relationship, if there's light at the end of the tunnel, you know you can now have a different experience with this person if they're willing to give you that opportunity. If they don't, still make yourself better, still apply those differences,
Always.
and then may God and the universe find a way to land a new situation on your lap to then treat that friendship and that new relationship differently when it does blow if it does bloom into something else.
Yeah, no, that happens. Like, like I said, I'm gonna use my last relationship because a lot of what we're talking about kind of happened in that, and the decision. I took some time. Like, usually I never really take that time. I was the type that was using a lot of rebounds, right? And then I started realizing how I was never happier. It wasn't bringing me anything, right? But in that time period, you know, a friendship is always the key when it comes to any relationship. You must first learn how to become friends. And what I mean by friends is someone you can confide in, can build trust, can become loyal with, and someone you can, you have the potential to always count on. They can become trustworthy or can become count on, because a lot of times, I've seen there has been arguments where there's been arguments in a relationship where it's minor little small little things. I'm saying, hey, can you take out the trash for me? Boom. But because I didn't take out the trash when you said to take out the trash, you have an attitude about that. But you never gave me a time frame to want that. So that was something that you changed within yourself. How can I ask, or how can I be accepting of someone when I'm asking someone to do something, but they don't do it on the time that I want them to, but they still do it and get it done? That's like what you were calling about a weakness, right? That was a weakness. I got it. I fixed that, or I changed that, or you know, and if you're the person that's saying, hey, do this for me, and you're expecting them to do it right away, you have to learn how to have that patience to where, hey, I asked them, I'm gonna wait and see if they do it. You know what I'm saying? Because usually what I say now is, if you want something done at a specific time. If that person is not going to be doing it right away, then you might as well do it yourself and not be upset at the person, because whatever they're doing, remember, you're taking them away from something that they're doing and asking them to do something else, and you don't know what they were doing over here, right? And what they got going on. And if they say, hey, give me a minute or so, then you have to be willing to accept that. So when it comes down to in a relationship, when it comes down to how to pick and choose, or when to decide to leave, or how to fix yourself and take that time off, you have to think about your moves and what you made, what you did, how you conversated. And conversation is one of the key things that happens in a relationship, because you think about it. I say friends first, because before you really actually start dating someone, you start talking to them as a friend. Hey, you introduce them as a friend. Hey, this is my friend such and such, or this is my friend such and such, right? Because in that little bitty friend stage, you're learning each other name, what your likes, interests are, dislikes, and those different things. Those things have to always stay a forefront, right? And in a relationship, for it, you must always be willing to communicate and talk about that. There at that In that relationship, I didn't express all of my feelings, or when that person did something that I didn't like, I didn't say much or didn't say anything about it. And now I realized, when I never say anything about it, the person never would understand how to change, or how to work around it, and how we can move past that. And then it got met with aggression, because now you're expecting them to do this because they say they love you. But yeah, they love you, but they don't necessarily means that they have to change, because some people love being themselves, and not changing their situation, or changing up a little bit, because now they're with someone else. See, two friends, you can be yourselves, but when you two come together, if every time you come together and there's always friction, then there's no reason to be there, because your energies can't match with each other. But if you two can always communicate, talk, and learn how to enjoy each other on random topics or random situations, then that makes it easier for you to connect. The deeper connected you are, the easier it is for you to communicate, or to stay together. The harder it is for you to have a connection, or to connect, the easier it is for the relationship to fall, or for you to not stay in it, and then becomes where you get to leave. Because a friend you can call on, your friend you can ask a question, and they can give you an answer, and it won't be a biased one, it'll be a truthful one. A friend, someone that's going to tell you, hey, I didn't like that, I think you could have did it this way, or maybe what you think you could have did that, or this hurt me this way, and I didn't appreciate that. Are you that person? And now, are you going to be that person to apologize and make the change different? Or are you going to look at that person like, hey, what I'm saying, but that's just how I am. And, what I'm saying, you got to accept that. Those is kind of how you can determine on whether you get to stay or not in a relationship, because those is easier. But having a friend, and being able to get back to that point where you can talk to each other, like stand up until 2-3 o'clock in the morning on the phone talking about random shit, but you're building a connection. That's your way of rekindling that flame and getting back to it. But being accepting that you're not judging this person anymore, you're not judging this person, you're allowing this person to understand that they have a weakness, or that they're weak in this area, and you're showing them and giving them the opportunity to build that strength up in there without judging them. And you're not rushing into anything. You get what I'm saying? You're not trying to rush back to do the lovey-dovey thing. A lot of times what happens is, in a relationship, once sex has been administered, then you really got to know where you're going from there. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a lot of times that's where we have fallen victim to, is that physical interaction. And unfortunately, that's that's just a benefit of being in a relationship. That's not the relationship. And we have gotten out of context with that, where that has become the relationship.
Main priority of a
Yeah,
relationship.
and everything else is
It's
we'll figure it out.
minuscule.
We'll figure it out on the way. And
No.
it's not like that. And I've learned that, because now with my wife now, it's like she's helping me better communicate. You know what I'm saying? She's helping talk to me in a way where, boom, now I'm able to express myself to her and certain stuff that I don't feel, or that I don't like, or, you know, these different things. You know, we have our times where we're doing us separately, meaning that I'm in my zone doing my thing, she's in her zone doing her thing, but then we come together and we, you know what I'm saying, we fulfill what we need to do together. You know, these it's just all about the willpower of the person and what you want at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Because everybody grew up, everybody has experienced different things. You have to be, in order for the relationship to really, really work, both parties has to be willing to, you know, look at the bigger picture and sacrifice what is being made. Okay, if you like, you like dancing and I like chilling, I'm okay with you going to go dance, but I can be sitting down on the couch watching you do your thing while I'm sitting down doing my thing. Now we're both happy. We're happy because you get to be you and enjoy you. I get to be me and enjoy me, and we both get to enjoy each other. I can sit back and drink a beer and watch my wife dance and sing her heart out, right? And I would be smiling and laughing, and then halfway in I might jump in with her just because, you know what I'm saying? But that's her enjoying herself and being who she is, and that's me accepting her for what she does and what she like. I'm not a big singer, or, you know what I'm saying, doing other things like that, but I can't stop her from doing that. Boom. You know, me, I'm good at talking and stepping, like talking in front of people, standing up in front of the crowd, being, you know what I'm saying, on stage. My wife's not like that. You know what I'm saying? She that kind of gives her nervous a little bit to be talking and presenting in front of people. But if she has to do it, will she do it? Yeah, she'll go ahead and put it to the side of her fear of doing that, or her dislike of doing that, and look at the bigger picture. Hey, I'm going to do this. I'm going to speak my truth. I'm going to say these things because these people need to hear it. It's not about me anymore and what I don't want to do. It's about what somebody else can benefit from it. So you really have to really think about that. But it's all based off of, you know, the person or the individual and what they truly want from that.
Great way of breaking that down, Aki, and we appreciate that perspective and that, you know, that true nature of your experience, especially with your spouse. I'm gonna mention these three things right here, and we're gonna get into friendships and friends, because it's a whole different ballpark with friends, right?
Yeah.
I've been married for 16 years, Emmy says, and all these years I put up with the cheating and mental abuse, and now I'm just tired of fighting. Scott says, I love how this podcast turned into what I'm going through and what I need to hear. Jamie says, it was hard to walk away, but I had to because of my past, and now I'm happier than I was when I was broken. Now, one thing I got to mention to Emmy, I know that you have been with your husband for a very long time, and you've put up with, you know, mental abuse and cheating, etc., and you guys have children together. You know, if I was transparent, me and my wife, especially in the beginning, we've been through those similar hardships. It's later on that we've grown a stronger bond for each other and are willing to fight for more the older we get, because one, we know that, you know, outside of our relationship, the market ain't shit right now, right? The dating market is terrible. You might meet somebody worse who will kick your ass, abuse you even more, you know, even physically, you know, harm you in a way where you wouldn't even expect, and do foul things to you that are beyond your comprehension. Now, outside of that, obviously, me and my wife have been together for almost 2 decades. So there's a level of security there, a level of compassion, a level of understanding each other to a degree, and even a level of just comfortability. Not being able to move on to, or wanting to move on to something else because we're so comfortable with each other. Right. In your case, though, Emmy, if it continues and there's no light at the end of the tunnel of him wanting to change to be a better husband and a better father to your children, then the best thing for you is to find the strength to let it go, and just move on for yourself. Because if you don't move on for yourself to be happy, how can you make your children happy?
I was
And
just about to say that,
yeah,
Aki.
yeah, you can't make no one around you happy. In that case, I wanna move on to friendships. And with friendships, I think we're a little bit more likely to tolerate certain things in our friendships, because one, they don't most of them don't live with us. Two of them, we keep them at at an arm's distance. We see them on certain occasions, whether it's guys night out, ladies night out. You might have friendships at your place of work, so you typically see them at work, and you might have a work event that you see them in. So friendships are a little bit more tolerable. But in the case of this topic of discussion, Aki, when does a friendship hit the fan, where something severely happens and you decide to move on? What does that look like for you on your end, when it's time to move on from a friendship?
Well, for me personally, because of how I've always been served, what's the deal, man? Welcome in.
What's
Um,
going on, brothers?
What's going on? We're talking about
friendship,
friendships right now.
friendship.
Moving on.
For me, I look at a person. You're never really my friend until we have known each other and have really, become close. I wouldn't call you a friend until probably 2 years after we've, been associating with each other, because I have to fill you out. You can't just become my friend. I don't have a lot of friends, because to me, for me, a friend is someone, if I call and ask for something, or I'm calling for help and in need, that friend will do what they can to assist me in that position, because I'm that same friend. If it's something you need from me and I can help you, I will. And you know that if I do have and can, I will. That's the difference, right? And so, but I've had a few associates that I had called friends, and unfortunately, we don't have that same friendship or relationship anymore, because I don't know why. But I can say that there were certain things that have been done and said, and that made it very uncomfortable for you to look at the same person, because you find out from someone else in the same circle that this one person felt some type of way about you, or
Mm,
had some type of feeling about you, and it was a little bit more on the jealousy and envious side, right? You don't revive stuff like that. If somebody shows that they have envy or jealousy towards you, 9 times out of 10 is not really gonna go away, because that person, there's this thing about you that they had to build up to become that way.
mm,
You are who you are, and when the person becomes envious or jealous of you, it tends to never go away, or it tends to be a very one of those things where they can't see nothing good you can ever do. They're always going to see what they see from you, because they have this negative or envious type of feeling towards you. And you can't get that back. And like I said, I've had a few situations where people have come into my life. I've given my last to certain people and did certain things to them and helped them out. Then when I return and ask for the same favor or ask for the same thing, they can't. I don't get mad at them, but now this person now wonders why I'm distant and far off. Well, hey, look, I was in a situation. I asked you for help. You couldn't help me at the time. So I went where I could get help from. And if that and be by me doing so, it caused us to go a long time without speaking or hearing and seeing from each other. And now you have a problem with that. And then when we address the situation, you have even more problem, because you felt like that wasn't necessary. But you're not considering why I had to. I'm in need of help. I asked you for help. You can't help me. I go where somebody can help me. You don't call, check in, or come back and say, hey, you still need help. I got this and this I can do. Boom, boom, boom. That right there let me know, as a friend, you were never, your interest in helping was never really there. You were only there to benefit out of helping me. You were never there to actually help me. So me wanting or needing help, if it didn't benefit you or you didn't get anything out of it, then therefore it wasn't worthy enough, and I wasn't worthy or valued enough to be your friend. So therefore there we go, we're no longer friends, because I'm not going to do that. Whether I can help you or not, I'm going to continue to check on you. You ask me for some help and I say, hey, I can't help you right now. You know what I'm saying? All right, no problem. Boom, boom, boom. Then a few days go, hey man, hey, you still everything okay? Were you able to get some help? Were you able to do this and this and that? You know, I got something now, I can help you. You still need. That's a friend. That's a friend, somebody who actually cares and wants to know that you're good, and is going to see and do their part to see that you know what I'm saying, they can do whatever, because everybody can't help you. You have to help yourself. You have to help yourself. But in the midst of you helping yourself, someone else can come and give you that extra push and boost. Someone can help, you know, give that hand right there for your leg so you can climb up, that, you know, advance to the next level. There's always somebody that can do that. And that's what I consider a friend, is when we're in a situation where we're calling, or we're depending upon each other, and we make it to the point where we don't make it hard, and we don't get jealous or envious of each other if we can't at the time, because boom, like I deal, when I deal with people, I understand people's situations. Like if I know you got children or you got a household, and you express to me that, you know, you're only able to do X, Y, and Z, and this and this and that, it wouldn't feel right for me coming to ask you for something taken from your household, knowing that you're already struggling to have what you do have. Now, again, a good friend will be like, yeah, that don't matter, man. If you needed some help, I can help you. And it's like, yeah, but a better friend is one who's not going to sit there and even go that length and put you in a position to have to do so. Because what happens is, if I ask you for help, you take from your family to come help me out. And then now that when it's time to, now it's time for me to return, I can't help you back. I can't return back to you now, because I'm in a far worse situation at the time that I needed your help. And then you help me out, but now I can't give you back that help. You have to be willing, as the other person, to accept that this person ain't going to be able to help me out. I can't get back what they have. So see, that's where everything becomes important as a friendship, is because I'm asking you for something. I'm entrusting that you know what I'm saying, when it's time for me to ask for help, you're going to be willing and bending over backwards to do the same. You get what I mean? Like, so that's when it comes to friendship, that's kind of how I look and see it, stuff like that, when it comes to friends. And I only have literally about 5 good ones, including you, Aki.
Appreciate it. Survival, it's good to see you. Thank you for tapping in and giving us your time on such short notice. I want to, before I get into Survival's take on it, I want to go back to, you mentioned something about, you know, you moving on from friendships because of envy, of jealousy, and just that feeling of them maneuvering a certain way, which led you to detach yourself from that friendship. I think a lot that happens and occurs in times like that. It's less you, Aki. It's more of them and the reflection of them, of their weaknesses that they can't seem to accomplish, that they see you accomplishing and flourishing and having the strength to do so. That's when the animosity, the envy, and the jealousy begins. It's a lack of them. It has nothing to do with you. You're as powerful as you need to be. You're in your pocket. You're doing what you're doing. It almost reminds me of like us being in the Unified Media Group, right? Where we have all these amazing, talented individuals. If I get on a record with you, and you know, me and that individual, remember we dropped we had a record together. He takes me off the record because I outperformed him and outshined him on the song, and then it became a factor of it was a tit for tat of, you know, I got 3 records. I got 3 records out. And I'm still booming. And I got more. You got more songs than me, but I'm outperforming you, or whatever his nonsense was when he was saying it. But there was a sense of instead of looking at it from a perspective of a collaboration and doing something special together, he looked at it as competition. And because I outperformed him on his own song, there was envy, jealousy, animosity, etc. And that was his true response and nature to it, which then led to the diss record, and then eventually us detaching ourselves from that particular quote unquote friendship. But going to Serve, I want to ask you the same question, Serve. In a friendship, what happens in a friendship that you've been in, Serve, where everything seemed to be normal, then something occurs, something hits the fan, and you had no choice but to move on? Can you reflect on that?
Yeah. Back then, okay, so I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm an empath. Okay. So I feel things.
Mm-hmm.
And especially when
Very
I
much
feel,
so.
yeah, brother. And when I feel stuff in the room, it's just like it's time to disconnect. Now, back in the day, I was that type of person where like I'll give you my last, I'll give you like the clothes off my back, I'll go ahead and give you my last dollar to go ahead and feed you. But it was something that the one said, I can't give you what I don't have. And at some point in time, if I was to ask you for the same thing, would you give me the same in return? Now I've changed. I'm that type of person. Now you fucked me over once. That's it. I'm that type of person where it was what you all said. I watch for jealousy. I watch for envy. I watch for niggas that be moving too friendly. It's not the type of thing that I like. So when you burn that bridge with me, there is no coming back. And I get it. Yes, they say hate is a strong word. I get that. But here's the thing. I'll forgive you, but I won't forget. And that's not something that I go in. I hold people accountable for that. When they say hold accountability for something, I hold people accountable for their actions. Even the individual that we're talking about right now. How many years has it been? It's been years since that had happened, how that transpired. And you saw how this person was a good friend, but then just looking at that, it's like, damn, bro, like, you mad? Like, what you mad about? You mad? And this is somebody that you introduced. Like, this is someone you introduced. This was someone, and matter of fact, if I go back in time and that happened, it happened because I was listening to JR's music more than I was listening to his. That right there. I was like, that right there. I was like, bro, you a grown man. I'm like, I can listen to who I want to listen to. Why is this a thing? This is a problem. And and it tripped me out because I had to disconnect my friendship because I knew for a fact that this was someone's mentality that was not growing. I was like, bro, you don't want to grow with people. You just want everyone to listen to your stuff. And it was like, okay, so you can't, so basically you can't share the wealth, you can't share the ideas. And my whole type of thing now, when it comes to friendship, I just let it go. If this is going to be a waste of time, waste of energy, I don't deal with it anymore. And that goes for anybody in the chat. If you have people that you feel that you have to let go, you have to let them go. I was like, in order for you to grow, you have to let others go because, like, some places that you're going, they won't understand it. That's like from a mental state of mind when it comes to being married. Some people, if you got single friends, they won't understand the same type of trials and tribulations you all go through because they're not married. Yes, they may have like a partner, but that's not the same thing. Have you developed a friendship? Have you really gone in depth on like what you all like, what you all dislike, what you all hate, how you all communicate? Like you all really
Have they
get
seen you fail and pick yourself back up again? Have they
yes,
been there to help pick you up when they see you fall? Have you been the person to sit there and help someone up when you see
right.
them fall? That's where friendship and relationship come in heavy at, you know what I mean? And that's where you got to be able to determine that factor. Sorry to cut you off, sir, but it was just I had to say that. You know what I'm saying?
And that's it. Even having a person inspire you, like even for me, like right now, when it comes to friends, my version of friends, because I place people in different boxes. I got my friends I can borrow money from. I got my friends that I can just have like brainstorm ideas. Like, how can we make more money? Okay, I have my friends where I can game it out. And what I do is placing them there, I know this is a person I can borrow money from. Guaranteed this person got it. If I need to get him back, this at a certain
I know
time.
I'm definitely in the idea bucket.
Oh yeah, you're most definitely in there. You
And
know,
I'm definitely gonna help you learn. I'm definitely gonna throw you some tips on how to make some more money.
absolutely. And see that right there. Now, when you know these type of people you have in these different places and categories, now you'll never fuck yourself over. Like if I borrow from a person that's in my ideal bucket list, if they're in this part and I'm borrowing money from them, oh, now I'm really screwing myself because I know what this person can do. But now here it is, I might go and burn a bridge with that person because see, like what if like the time when I was giving money or so, I'm not giving enough back. Like if I borrow like $200 from this person, if I borrow 200 from this person that's just coming up with ideas and I'm not paying them back like the same person I was doing other time, bro, you will burn a bridge so damn quick. And that's the fastest way to burn bridges.
Man.
Is borrowing money from people. It
I
truly is.
Hey, it really makes or breaks a relationship. And
What's crazy is that you'll lose the relationship, right, off of borrowing money or lending money, and it be for peanuts, bro. People be running away for peanuts, and I try to tell people, I'm like, if you hiding from me for 50, 100, 30, you know, whatever it is, right? For me, I look at it like that's how you value our friendship. Our friendship is worth less than this amount, or it's worth this amount that you're willing to hide from me. And this is why I'm gonna take something from you, Serve, and I'm gonna apply it moving forward. Because in my mind, the way I process things is I don't have an expectation of anyone. So that way there's never a disappointment. So I don't expect from anyone or anything. There's no expectation. I was doing that. But what I want to take from you, Serve, is place every friendship in a bucket. So now you know how far the expectation can really go. If I got a bucket of friends that I know I could borrow money from, then there's a certain level of expectation that I may or may not be able to borrow money from them. Same thing with, I put the bucket of friends who can give me ideas. My expectation is they may or may not give me a good idea. But at the same token, I still process, me personally, internally, I still process myself, especially with lending money. And I'm gonna use this quote that I've came up with myself. I don't lend anyone money. It's not a borrow for me. I'm going to give you the money freely with no expectation of everything in return, because I don't want nothing with interest. I don't want nothing over my head or nothing over their head. Why? Because God has my highest interest. Absolutely. And I know it's going to come back around to me tenfold. So if Aki calls me and Ak goes, yo, shit just hit the fan. You know what I'm saying? Shit is tight right now. Yo, Ak, can you throw me a bone? Throw me like $100 or whatever the case. I'm like, yo, Ak, this $100 is for you. Don't even worry about it. Like, I don't want nothing out of it. I don't want nothing in return. This is you. He knows that he can call me for it. He knows I'm good for it. And I don't have to, if he's calling me to borrow it, I'm not going to put him in the position to ruin our friendship for him to have to give it back to me, plus interest. I'm not doing that. I value our friendship way too much for that. It reminds me, and I'm not going to put his name out there, but he's a dear friend. He's a dear friend of mine. He calls me up and he checks up on me and he goes, yo, my check didn't clear or whatever. Can you lend me this? And I said, I'm going to send it to you. I don't want it back. Then I messed around with him a week later. I was like, yo, you can send me that for the bets. Just messing with him. And then he kind of giggled and laughed and was like, yo, when I get paid, I was like, I'm just fucking with you. I'm not. When I told you I sent it to you because you got a family, the check didn't clear. That's on you. I'm good with that. You know why? God has my highest interest. Sure enough, I spent the same amount I sent him. I placed a bet on Prize Picks for the same amount. The day I told him, send me the money to place this bet, I still placed the bet. I made $335 on that bet. God has my highest interest.
Right.
It's always going to be reciprocated. The energy is always going to be presented when you do it from the right intention. When you do it from pure intent, and your intention is pure, and you do it from the right intention, it's always going to come back to you. So that's exactly what I wanted to state. And then the next sequence.
Hold on. I can
Go ahead. Put me on.
If I ever call you to borrow something, I'm going to give it back to you. But here's an example, and reason why I say that is because I have those type of friends already. Like I have one friend, I have a PS5 because of this friend. He said, "You're a daddy now. Your mental health state is going to be needed. I need you to vent. I need you to be able to stay yourself." This name bought me a PS5. Beautiful friend, bro. Beautiful friend. Because who goes and spend that amount of money on it? PS5 is not cheap. You know what I'm saying?
It's not
cheap. No, and I ain't getting no.
I don't even got a PS5. I got everything but a PS5.
You know what I'm saying? but that same friend, I you know what I'm saying, I asked to borrow money. He's not expecting me to give it back. There was a time where I asked to borrow something. He gave it to me. I used it and needed it what it is. Then it was my birthday came around. He took me out for my birthday and he was like, "Yeah, I got you, bro. You know, on the trip." He's buying my food. So then at the time he buys my food, I give him the money that he let me borrow back. He was like, "What's this for, bro?" I said, "I'm buying your food." "Nah, remember you told me you let me borrow some of this, man. I needed this for this, and you gave it to me. So here go back. You know what I'm saying? Here's most of it back. I didn't even give all of them back." He was like, "Oh, bro, you didn't have to give that back." It was I wasn't even tripping off of that, but it was like, but nah, that's not the principal thing was I asked you for this because I needed it at the time. You was able to give it to me. Now I want to give you that back now because I appreciate you for doing that. I didn't want to take from your pockets, but I needed help at the time. So let me put this back in your pocket. Our relationship became even more because again, he was not expecting it back. He looked at it as, "Hey, you need that over there, you good over there." Whenever you able to give it back is kind of how he looked at it. He never said it, but it was kind of how he looked at it. Whenever, if you can, you can. Forgot all about it. A month or so passed, and here it is. I'm giving him back the bread, and he like, "Oh, you didn't even have to do it." He wasn't expecting it. You know what I'm saying? So that's the type of person, that's the type of relationship, that's the type of friendship or the friends that I like having around, is being able to you know what I'm saying, have that much faith and belief in each other. I had another friend where we got so toe up one night, and I'm driving all of us home underneath some influence, and the car needed gas. I had money for gas, but it wasn't my car, so I took money from my friend out of his pocket while he was unconscious and put it in his gas tank, right? But then when that friend woke up and was like, "Hey man, I'm missing some money," I said, "Hey, relax, bro. Nobody took your money. What I did was we needed gas in the vehicle. I took half of my money and I took some money out of your pocket and I put it in the gas tank. So your money's in your gas tank. If you're missing anything more than $20, bro, then I don't know what happened to that. But I know this is the amount I took from you and this is where it went." And he was just like, "Oh man, all right, cool, bro. I was just about to say, man, I hope nobody got me." I was unconscious. Like, no. I wasn't gonna let nobody do nothing like that to you being unconscious. But I'm letting you know I did this because we needed this, you know what I'm saying, in order for us to get home. And I made sure we got home safe. And I'm driving his vehicle while he's unconscious. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the type of person I am. That's the type of friend you get when I consider or want to be your friend. I'm going to be that one to do whatever I can, and I'm going to be honest and fully with you. Or at least if I do something, I'm going to let you know, "Hey, this is and this and this, and I did that." You know what I'm saying? So if you're mad, we'll talk it out. You can be mad at me for a few days. We won't talk for a few days, whatever the case may be. But no, my intentions was this. My intent was for us to get home and that you got home safe. And in order for us that to happen, I needed to borrow some money for gas. And this is gas you're putting, basically you put your own money in your gas tank. So it's like, I just did it for you. You get what I mean? So that's how it is when you're looking at friendships or you're dealing with people. You want to look and see if people get you leave them the opportunity, like how my brother Juan say. He takes this little bit of trust, and he gives you a little bit, and he sees what you do with it. Once he sees what you do with that little bit, then it's like, oh, I can give you more now.
Give
'Cause
you a little bit more.
I can give you a little bit more because now I can see what
Have
you're
you ever
doing.
have you ever thrown a hook of trust, Aki, where you've mentioned something to somebody? I did it today on TT. Now this person's not a friend; they're just an associate of such, right? Where we just battle, we just met through a mutual friend. I go ahead and I mention something to this individual. I get off the battle. We open up boxes. All of a sudden, the individual we were speaking of hops into the stream and says, "Keep your name out my mouth." So I put it in correlation. I said, I gave this person a little bit of trust to have this conversation, and less than not even 5 minutes, they turn around and told the individual what I supposedly said, which was their version of what I said. It wasn't even my true version of what I said. Never said anything ill about the person. So, and I know we test our friendships that way, right? And it's unfortunate that those things happen. And the minute that happened, I blocked the person that came into my stream, and then I unfollowed and it ended up happening to be a guy, mind you, right? So just imagine that you got fellas out here chirping like birds, but that's besides the point.
That's a different topic.
Yeah, that's a whole totally different topic. But I want to get to this right here. The next thing about moving on, Aki, and I'll start with Serve. Serve, place of work. You're at a job for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, whatever it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And on the side, you're hustling. You're trying to figure out your way. You're trying to start a business. You're investing in this other motion over here on this side every time you get out of work.
Mm-hmm.
What does it take for somebody like a survival or somebody in the chat or Aki to move on from a place of a job of quote unquote false security, right? Because they give you the perception that there's security in work. To when does somebody like a Serve, Aki, and somebody in that chat go, F this job, I'm all in on my business?
Okay. So
what would it take?
So first, what it would take is it's going to take faith. It takes faith. You have to take a leap of faith. And some people don't realize this. You can stand on the edge of your greatness. You can stand on the edge of greatness, but you won't leap. You won't make that call because it's like you're waiting for someone to push you. And that's what it is. You have to get to that point where it's like, I've done this for so long. I've done this job for so long, but I feel like I'm empty inside. Like nothing is going ahead, like nothing is giving me what I'm looking for. And the way how a person can really like I guess what I could say is like how you can find that purpose where you can just say like fuck the job is start reading books. Start reading books, start meditating, start talking to God. But something that I like to do, and most people probably don't do this, y'all could call it crazy, but what I do is I put the writings on the wall. Like I go ahead and I write my words of affirmations. I speak things. So you all have heard me say this. I say, I'm so happy and grateful now that God gave me the wisdom. I'm so happy and grateful now that my mom gave me the vision. I'm so happy and grateful that my mentor introduced me to the Trinity. I'm so happy and grateful now that I know my divinity. I know who I am. I know exactly what God placed me in to be. He helped me find my purpose. My purpose is to be a communicator, broadcasting. So that's how you would end up finding the job that's meant for you. Your job would be your niche. Many people don't know this, but God has created you to be what? He's created you to be an outlet. He's created you to be someone. You're a teacher in some form of way. You are a God. You are a creator. Now, most people will just think it's the God that's in the sky. Yes, that is okay. I get it. Everyone speaks Yahweh, but I'm telling you, Yahweh created you to go ahead and create what he's already given you. He already knows the beginning. He knows the middle. He knows the end. He gave you the ability. JR, you may go ahead and inspire people to go through TikTok, whether that's TikTok, Instagram. You may find people and you may inspire them to go ahead and follow in your footsteps and come up with some other creation. You might go ahead and inspire someone in producing when it comes to music. So that's what God gave you. It's your niche. So when you work a job, your job is just like you said, giving false security, but it's also giving you funds. And some people don't realize this. You have to work what you hate to fund what you love.
Mm.
I know that firsthand. You have to you have to work what you hate to fund what you love. And I'm
Word.
telling you right now, a lot of people don't understand it because they think like, oh, as soon as I go ahead and I make this money, I'm gonna get into the business. No, you're not. Because firsthand, look at friends that started a business. JR, is it easy? Give me your answer. Is it easy?
No.
There you go. D1, if you started, is it easy?
Hell no.
There you go. I'm giving the chat transparency because it's not as easy as everyone makes it sound.
It's never, nothing's easy. First of all, nothing that you, the biggest thing that you want out of what you're asking for is never easy, because if it was easy, everybody would be able to reach that height, that elevation, that ability. But because it's not easy, it makes room for, when you do reach that, your appreciation for it.
Absolutely. And that's a part that a lot of us are afraid to commit to. So I would tell anyone inside the chat or anyone that's listening, if you really want to start a business, before you take that leap of faith, first make sure that you have some funds. Have some fun. Start tiptoeing into it. Start putting something into it, because you can't put your all until you start seeing a profit. Until you see a profit, we're like, hey, this is taking care of what I'm doing, my expenses. So go ahead and write it down. Go ahead. You have to start becoming your own banker. You have to start becoming like your own accountant. So what you're going to do is you're going to place some funds over here and you're going to say like, okay, how much would I need to take care of me? How much takes care of, my assets? What are the assets that I have? What's something that's taking care of these liabilities? Liabilities are going to be your bills. These are residual bills that come in. Do you have more assets than you have liabilities that's going to take care of those things before you embark on that journey? So therefore, now you're not going half-ass. You're making sure that you're well taken care of, because when you start on your own, remember everything that you saw. Even look at some of the stuff that your job has. I want you to think about like, okay, what's my health benefits? What's something that you should be getting before you go and quit the job? Health benefits. Should I get life insurance? Okay, so now you're taking care of everything on the back end for you. Then after that, now it's like, okay, I can embark on this journey. I got everything that I need. This is taken care of. I'm making enough money for me to take care of my expenses. So now I don't have to worry about that. But until you actually make a profit where it's taking care of you, do not embark on that journey. That's what I got.
Man, love it, sir. Love it, sir. And I'm glad you said that and started that, because technically speaking, that's what I'm doing now. So, and
Okay.
I want to add on top of what you were saying when it comes down to recognizing and knowing, hey, you're going to take this leap of faith, right? But you
Yes.
got to be able to put yourself in a position for when you take that leap, that you're falling, but when you falling in style until Yahweh goes ahead and start and let you bounce off of that fluffy thing and bounce right back up to go back up and start flying with style, right? So I work in Hidden Hills. Go ahead, sir, because I got
Okay, no, you can continue on. I just want to point out something in the chat. One of the people said, "Don't forget discipline." That is major key. That is discipline is key to all of this. Go ahead, brother.
Get that too. That's what I was getting to too. So I'm gonna share something with you. Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. Can I take your order? Y'all remember that, right? Y'all know that movie, right? Y'all know the movie. Do you know who the writer of the movie is?
No.
His name is Daniel Schneider.
Okay.
Here's what you were saying, sir, and what I wanted to add to it. So yeah, I work at 9 to 5 now, and I do want to transition into becoming my own audio engineer, right? Here's some of the steps that I'm doing to take to secure that. One, I have a job, but that it only supports what my basic need is here, right? But because of the type of job that I have, which is doing security, I work where the people who I want to do business with lives.
Wow.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Wow, that's a move.
So Let me give you the reason why I said welcome to Good Burger and I brought up Daniel Schneider, because Daniel Schneider he's coming home one time and he has to come to the security window and to let me know who he is. I asked him, hey Dan, do you got the secret to Ed sauce, right? And he goes, huh? What are you talking about? I said the sauce, the Ed sauce. He goes, and he starts laughing and he leaves. That happened like a week ago. Last week, on Tuesday, last week, he comes back and he goes, hey, what's up, man? I'll go, hey, what's up, Dan? Hey, you got the secret, you got the sauce for me? He's like, man, what's up with your obsession with the sauce? I go, it's not the obsession with the sauce, Dan. It's I recognize who you are, and I'm just showing you how much I appreciated your work and what you did for the movie Good Burger. It was one of my favorite movies growing up as a kid, and I got to meet Kel from, you know what I'm saying, that, or Ed, as some people know him. I got to meet him in real life. He was like, oh, really? I was like, yeah, it was pretty cool. So I just wanted to say I appreciate you and your work. What Daniel Schneider did was bought me an original prop, the original Triumphathal can from Good Burger that Mondo Burger was putting in theirs to make their burgers bigger. He bought me the actual can and said, hey, here, look, I can't give this to you, but you can take a picture with it. I was able to take a picture with the prop from a movie back in the 90s as a kid. I got to take a picture with that. Then I got 2 signed cars that had Keenan and Kel's signature on it, right? Now, not only did I do that, now the next day, Daniel Schneider, what he does is he calls in to add someone to his guest list, and he goes, hey, you know what I'm saying, how did you like that? Did did you take a picture? You enjoyed that? I was like, no, man, Dan, hey, you don't even understand, man. I appreciate you for doing that. You brought a lot of joy to me for doing that, because that's something that a lot of people don't get the opportunity to do, right? Or to be. He was like, no problem, man. Hey, would you mind if would you mind sending that to me for my records? Like, you were so excited and happy about my work, and it made me feel really good. I just want to have that as a memorabilia. No problem, Dan. So now I have Daniel Schneider's personal number in my phone.
What a move.
All right, brother.
I want to take something from that too, Aki. What you did that's so genius like. And I don't even know if you did it on purpose at first.
I didn't.
Because first you picked up a security job. You didn't know where the security job was going to place you. So God placed you somewhere where he knew you would have enough awareness and enough know-how to utilize the position to your future advantage. So then you go ahead and you make time to join these classes for audio engineering, which is going to be super resourceful and educational for your application, for your business. And then while you're doing that, during your job, right, before going to class, during your job, you have enough awareness and know-how to look around and say, oh, everybody who comes in and out of this building is someone that I can associate myself with to a degree that can benefit my business in audio engineering and other things, whether it be film related, music related, business related. So what I like about your interaction with this Daniel is that you slowly interacted in a way where you caught his attention, you gave him his flowers, and it led to a full contact and exchange of something that can potentially be beneficial for your future. And it's just, not everybody can do that. You know what I mean? Some people don't even know how to engage and open up that beginning discussion. And you did it with such class and in such a way that I feel deep down inside, whether he gave you the contact or not, you were still genuine in your intention. And that's why he gave you the contact. Your intention was just purely to give him his flowers. But in turn, Yahweh in the universe said, I'm going to give you his contact. You know what I mean?
Man, my phone, I don't know what happened right there. I don't know where I don't know even know why I'm on here twice, but
it's all right. We'll make it work.
But yes, I intentionally did not try to get Daniel Schneider's number, but I wanted to, just share and express my appreciation for his work that he's done, not judging him as a person, not worried about what he's done personally or in his other life, just initially giving him his props for creating something that I enjoyed as a kid, that is dear and wholehearted to me, that in return I got the ability to have a personal contact with him. Well, how I will utilize that, I don't know yet, but I'm not the type of person, and because he's not the only person that I have a personal number with that lives in there. That's somebody
Right.
that's in the industry. Like I have a few people numbers that live inside of Hidden Hills. I have a few of their numbers in my phone, right? My personal phone now. And I got that. The reason why I'm bringing this up and I'm saying that is because, in working your 9 to 5, hold on. Got an emergency.
You're good. You're good. While he checks that out, I do want to add something with Serve in regards to, working a 9 to 5 and what it took me to get to this point where I'm a full on entrepreneur, live streamer, informationalist, educator, etc. And I'll continue once Aki's ready.
Okay.
But go ahead, Aki.
No, I was saying, me recognizing when I started working in Hidden Hills that I am now around people who I actually want to be around and need to be around for the type of work that I'm willing to do. Right. So I have another producer, a engineer who works directly with a producer and songwriter who has music in TV and film. His name is Mark Isham. Right. You may never heard of his name, but I can tell you right now, his name is in a lot of credits. If you go look him up, his name is Mark Isham. You will see all of the work and music he has scored for movies and TV and television. Right. I also am great friends with the assistant of Neil Giraldo, another music recording artist and producer who's an engineer and scores movies and things like that. I'm going to school for scoring movies, film, and television, right? So I have personal contact with some of these people where I'm one contact on one phone call away from getting answers for questions that I may have, or just somebody with the person that I'm connected to through them, letting them know, hey, did you know your security guard does this type of work? And this is something that that he's done. Here's a portfolio for you to check him out, right? Or somebody to give that word, that easy say, hey, this person, this is a new and upcoming talent. You should try working with them, creating a new sound, doing a new thing. Like I have an opportunity now to really be able to become my own audio producer and have clients once I graduate from school. Because now I have contacts, I have information, people are starting to hear and recognize who I am. But my personality, who I am as a person, is showing up quicker than them knowing that I'm going to school for something. I'm not asking them for a handout and for them to help me. I'm just showing up, being myself, showing hospitality, doing my job, but also expressing my likes and interests to the people who are next to those people. Antoine Fuqua, the director and of Training Day, knows who I am. Like
I want to add to that real quick, Aki, if you don't mind, because I see the number 6. This reminds me of the 6 degrees of separation theory, where it's that everyone on Earth is connected to each other by a chain of acquaintances that is no more than 6 steps long. This idea, through a series of friend-of-friend relationships, any two individuals can be linked, requiring a maximum of 6 intermediaries. The concept of 6 degrees of separation has been explored in many different lenses, whether it be social networking, playing film, game theory, and scientific experiments. Now, they say while the exact number of connections might vary, the idea of relatively it being a small world where individuals are connected through a network of acquaintances has persisted and continued to be explored in various contexts. And that's what Aki is talking about. The fact that he's in this pool that the minute he has one conversation with somebody, it's connected to someone else. And it's a very, very powerful theory, very, very powerful concept. And yeah, Delaney, look it up. It's the reason why we're all connected.
Man,
I'll give you a simple example. And I will always utilize this because this is how me and my brother got connected. There was two individuals, him and his brother. Him and his brother flew to New York City from Los Angeles for a fashion show. They interacted with my father and my aunt, two other individuals, right? Which led to me in survival, two other individuals. So you have Aki and his brother, my father and my aunt, me and Serve. That's 6 people. It took the interaction of Aki and his brother to interact with my father and aunt in New York City to then lead to me and Serve, which none of us have met in person yet.
Yep.
But it was the 6 degrees of separation. There was 6 people right there within this circle, within this world, within this small world that led to this right here. And if he would have never had that interaction with those 2 individuals when they all looked up to look at the same billboard and noticed the excitement, and then they interacted. After that interacted, they reached out to me, which then led me and Aki to then meet JC the Pharaoh, which then JC the Pharaoh led me to Serve. And the thing of what's so powerful about the 6 degrees of separation is that you will literally meet people across your life that will lead you to the people that are meant to stay in your life.
Yep.
And I think that's probably one of the most powerful things I've ever witnessed.
Yep.
Absolutely. Because God will end up placing people in your life where you'll have some people that's here for a season and you'll end up meeting people for a lifetime, because these are the people that you were destined to meet. And like you said, around the time when me and you met, JR, was because JC was just, I don't know, like, I guess it was like he was goofing off and I just happened to come in because I was like, oh, wait a minute, JR talking about NFTs. I had just started looking into NFTs, and when I started looking into it, I started doing my research. Like, I was just like, yo, I'm doing this, I'm researching it because that's what you were interested in. And then after that, I was like, oh, this brother is speaking my language. I'm like, okay, I can do that. If I talk to JC, it's like, yeah, man, I get in, da. And I'm like, bro, you're not serious.
You're not serious.
And then when it came to me meeting D1, this was that truly, you guys, this is truly inspiring for me. When I met D1, I'm gonna be honest, he was not a talker. He was not talking like this. He told me, he said, sir, I saw you was on here, and you know what? I applaud you, brother. Like, you kind of inspired me to do this. And I'm like, word. I'm like, now mind you, I'm not asking for no flowers, no kudos, nothing. He just tells me, and I said, well, you know what, brother? You're very wise. It's the Gemini that's in you. I already know this is the wisdom that you have locked up, and people need to hear that. And then JR throws the alley-oop and he says, you know what? Let's do a podcast. Now, here's the thing. I don't step up for the podcast. The young brother that's inspired from me, he steps in and he does it. I'm like,
yeah,
that's all. And you know what? I was never mad. I said, look, this is D1's time to shine. This is for him. This is what he wants to do. And if this is going to give him the power to go ahead and explore and inspire someone else with what he's doing, then go so be it. And that's how it's always been.
Man, look, we the 3-headed dragon. We the 3-headed one right here.
Sir, you always are. One thing I need to highlight while I have you here, because I know we don't have you here often, and I'm gonna highlight this while I have you brothers here. The one thing we will always appreciate, sir, is the fact that your mentality, right? Your grit, the things that you've been through, that you've shared with us, the storm that you've rode, the fact that to me, you will always be a lone wolf that has inspired us, that when life hits us and in a way where we no longer have our friends or our family, but we have enough love for ourselves, and we have enough love for Yahweh and the universe. What God did for you, brother, was, yes, he removed family from your life, whether it be through death or other formalities, but he brought me and ONTO into your life to show you that family don't have to come from blood relation.
Family
You
ain't all
understand?
family ain't blood.
All family ain't blood, right?
Mhm.
Family comes from just the nature of what Aki said earlier, being there for one another. And I think
Absolutely.
what's missing in this world is the fact that we don't have enough men in our lives that are willing to step up and help each other to expand and expound on the natures of what it takes to push each other to the next level. I
Right.
don't lose by helping you win. I get inspired every single day by you and ONTL DeWarn.
Man.
Every single day. I have a conversation with y'all, I get re-inspired. And what we're doing here is a testament to how powerful you are and this brother is, because every single person that's in this chat right now, yes, they may be in here for me right now at this moment, but
Yeah.
the minute this conversation is over, they're following Serve and they're
Yeah.
following ONTL DeWarn. They're going to watch the content that you're producing. They're going to want to know who you are, your personality, what you have to offer, because they know me better than anybody other than my wife, that I do not waste my time except being around people that are going to uplift me, inspire me, motivate me, and push me to the next level.
Hey.
So I appreciate you, brother, for doing those things for me.
I second that too, Serve, man. You know, like you stated earlier, you always had that inspirational charisma about you, right? You always had
Thank
that
you, brother.
personality of, you know, beyond what you're dealing with, right? So that's to me, you know, when you told us that's your name, survival skills, like I appreciated that, and I was inspired by that, because it was like, man, this man's name, or what he goes by, is based off of how he lives his life, right?
Yeah.
It's about having that skill to be able to survive in a situation, right? And you know, I'm saying that, and giving that with JR too, because you know, we truly appreciate who you are. I mean, we have how many seasons? Almost 2 seasons, one full season, and almost two, and it's about a half a season. You know, where all three of us is on there, right? And
Mhm.
and we built that foundation, that strong suit, that brotherhood, that ability to communicate and talk from three different perspectives, and each perspective has a more deeper, broaden and deeper understanding that relates to the people we bring around, or whoever else is in the chat, and things of that nature, right? You know, you two I've never met in person, but I feel like whether we meet in person or not, we carry each other's spirits so heavy, because we you know, we're one, like-minded individuals, one, you know, on different quests, but like-minded individuals, and then two, we pushing for the same thing. We you know, we
Mhm.
all
Mhm.
we all speak in the same language,
Language, 100%, Aki,
you know.
100%.
And that's the most beautiful thing, and I think a lot of times that's what the chat resonates with. The chat resonates with how well we're able to communicate with each other, and all three of us, from three different point of views and angles, and different scenarios, can speak at a volume that's louder than a stadium.
And I gotta say one more thing. Let me add to that real quick for the chat, for everybody that's in the chat that enjoys the pressure single. Survival is in the opening segment and the ending segment of that record.
Love,
There's anything that's more powerful than
man.
me going crazy spitting bars, everybody says that they play that record over and over again because of what you're saying. So let
Exactly,
that resonate, brother.
exactly,
Oh, it,
exactly.
it resonates. That's why I said I feel like God has placed me in a position where it's like, now I want you to be a broadcaster. I want you to be in radio. I want you to further career, because I'm like, you have this person saying that your voice sounds like it's on the radio. You have people that's telling you you need to be on the radio, that they will listen to you. And I just said one day, I said, I will start a podcast. When? It's coming soon. It's in the works. I do have a lot of special guests, especially a lot of people that I've been speaking with. Like I said, if it wasn't for, Unified, this would have never happened. Like I said, JR, you opened up the door for me to meet like people like Jasmine Renee. You
Okay.
opened up the door like with me meeting like who was that? Cap. Cap was the one that opened up the door for
Shout out
me
to the
to
homie
meet
Cap
Merk.
Capo.
Like he was the one that ended up pushing me to go ahead and talk to Merkums. Now I talk to Merkums like that. I'm like, I talked to the man. I was even invited on. I'm pretty sure you all heard the single. We Outside. If
Yep.
you all have not heard We
I heard
Outside,
that,
it was
sir.
on TikTok. It went crazy. Merkums called me. I just sat out there. I was like, yo, Merk. I said, bro, I'm gonna be honest with you. This record that you got, We Outside, it's doing numbers right now. I think what you need to do is really capitalize on this. He was like, what you think? He was like, what you think? And then he ends up playing it, and Ice-T hears it. He's like, you know what?
Ice-T gets
That
on the
sound hot.
remix.
Ice-T was on the remix. Ice-T heard it, and I said, look, bro, your mentor even gave you the green light. What more do you need? Next thing you know, you end up hearing this song go crazy. It's playing. I end up telling Merk, I said, bro, I hate when I'm right, but I'm right. And next thing I know, he is like, hey, sir, you know what? Bro, would you like to come to Arizona and, you can be in the video? I've never been in a music video before, but that opportunity arrived. Like, oh my God, like I'm finna be on, like, mama, your boy finna be on TV. And I was like, I was geeked. Now, here's the bad part. You guys, I'm working 9 to 5. I think I can really spend that. It's not gonna happen like that. So
Right.
I missed out. But I did tell Merk, I said, Merk, I can't be there right now. But lo and behold, I was sitting there saying, like, fuck this job. I'm like, I can be on TV. So, and that's the excitement. But that's one of those times where it's like, hey man, you gotta take a leap of faith. You just gotta go. I was like, I should have just said I got PTO time, I'm sick, something call off work, because I was like, this is one chance in a lifetime. And that's what that was. But I just let that be known that is something that we all should do. If you ever have an opportunity that arises where you want to do these things, go for it. Meet people. You said too, Yuan, when it came to you working your job, sometimes this also takes place, and I want to piggyback and let you all know something. So you talked about like where when it comes to like your job, sometimes you have to place yourself in a different atmosphere, a whole different surrounding. Something like, especially like for independent artists, that's something that you all have to do. You have to go out there and you have to talk to different people. It's not family. And I get this. And this is the hardest part for all people that start something that they love and enjoy. And I have to talk about this. Family. Fuck family. I know you all don't want to hear that, but fuck family. These are the people that you all want to inspire. These are the people that talk to you and say, oh, I'm going to support you. I'm going to do this. No. They don't support you until the dream has become a reality. They support you through looking. They support you by looking at you. They support you seeing you reach for your aspirations. They support you that way. The people that really support you are the total strangers that don't even know you. Because see, here's the thing. They know your history. Hear me what I'm saying. They know your history. They know your story. That's why they don't listen to you, because they already know what you've gone through. They've raised you. They've been around you. So they don't know what you're capable of because they know the old version of you. They don't know the version that you're knocking down doors. They don't know that version that you're hungry for. JR, I remember when you talked about your birthday, brother. I remember when you talked about your birthday. And you was like, bro, these are people I eat with. Y'all don't even want to go ahead and see me shine. And here it is. Nigga, I'm the one that's reaching in my own pockets. I'll give to you. But you won't even give to me. What? I'm like, bro, when I saw that, I said, bro, I get it. And these were the people that I reached for. These are the same people I said, I will give my last for. I will make sure that you all are well taken care of if you believe in my aspirations and my dreams. And they didn't. And it's okay, because the people that I connected myself with were the ones that believed in me. Complete strangers. So I have to say that. And going back, the fallout. The reason how come you all didn't see me on future episodes and everything was because of people around me. I had people around me that were saying things. And in my mind, I'm like, this is not me. You all know when I first started out just being survival, it was like having $2 to my name. My girl left me, family passed away, my mother, my brothers. I was, like you said, lone wolf by myself. And me placing myself around certain people started things that I did not like. I started listening to things like, oh, sir, bro, why you keep getting on that podcast? You don't need them. Like, they come to see you. What? These were people that surround me. Oh, bro, they like to track pressure because you on it. What? I'm like, this is people around me saying shit. They like, bro, you don't need them. Why don't you go and do your own thing? But I was like, I like what I do. I'm not greedy. I'm like, I like where I'm at. I'm like, I'm choosing this because I'm reaching other people. I'm talking to people and they love these stories that we're sharing with one another. That's why I'm here. I was like, maybe you all don't see the vision, but I do because God gave me the vision, not you. These were people that used to live with me. I'm pretty sure you all remember. I told you all I had a friend that was staying with me. That's what they used to do. They were sitting outside. This was what's that boy's name? That boy that I don't even remember. That wanted to go ahead and get into music, and then after that, he just gave up.
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, he was like, yo, serve. You gonna go? I said, bro, I cannot want this for you because you're not hungry enough.
Wasn't his name like 25 something?
I don't even remember, bro. Like that's how it.
I had to drop all of that shit. Like, didn't he rap like Eminem, 50 Cent, and something else all mixed in combined?
Yes, and that's what it was like. I said, bro, I gotta let y'all go. I was like, look, I believed in the beginning. I said, if you all go ahead and follow my mentorship, I'll be able to lead you all to something that can be very promising. But I have to sever ties with you. And I'm that type of person where I mean what I say. You burn a bridge with me, you're not walking past this bridge. I'm not coming back. I don't give a fuck. You could go ahead and do something to save my life. Fuck you. That's it. I don't want to cross that bridge because once you burn that bridge, I'm showing you that's what it is. You burn a bridge with me, I don't have to cross that. And that's what we have to understand. When you burn a bridge with someone, do not want to cross. You don't have to cross it anymore. Because once you sever that tie, that's it. You sever that tie. Keep it moving. Say what it is. That's it. And that's exactly how it was. Ever since then, I say, you know what? I let them get in my head. That was the reason why I just stopped doing things, because I was like, I'm listening to these things and my mind is shifting. It's like, are they right? Are they wrong? I was like, I'm not listening to myself. I'm listening to people that's around me. I said, look, I got to get rid of this negative headspace because this is fucking with my mindset. My mindset was never in this for money. My mindset was in this to go ahead and do it. And truth be told, when it comes to podcasting, and this is what I know from the reality of it, podcasting happens. You get monetized through podcasting from the people that you reach, from the people that come to your show. This is how this becomes something. Now, it doesn't happen just because, oh, yeah, I just want to be a famous podcast. No, it's from the people that you reach. Are the people showing up all the time? Are they here to witness it? Are they interacting inside the chat? That's what you want. It doesn't happen just to get rich. I'm like, yeah, everybody want to get rich. Everybody want to be that. But it only happens from the people that you entertain and you react with, because this is a reality. And today you all touch many souls today through your stories.
Powerful stuff. Some of the things I just want to mention real quick, and I'll let you get to it, Aki. You know, and I want everybody to kind of have a moment with this. I think I seen something in a post where it said like a kid named DB or DBG or something like that streaming, made 12 million in 1 month on Twitch. Kai Cenat, you know, is making millions. Has Streamer University. Mr. Beast, you know, 400 million 400 million subscribers, 400 million, not 4 million, 400 million subscribers. Everything goes back into his business. These streamers, YouTube is outperforming Netflix. These streamers are earning more than some celebrities you know today. The window is still operation. There's still light there. There's still a window of opportunity. Now, obviously, me, you, and Serve, we're doing this to give value to others and in turn hope to see an impact that can then be monetized. Of course, we want it to be a business, right? But we don't look at, you know, Aki could tell you, we don't look at the numbers. We look at impact. We look at the 11 that were in this chat earlier. What did we say that can resonate with the viewers to then make them move in a direction that they weren't moving in before? That's powerful. That's why I do this every day. I don't do it for money. Will money come from it? Absolutely. Look what happened. We made $7 today in the chat. I'm super blessed.
Appreciate your job, man.
For the donation. Anytime you guys are in the chat, you'll see a little $sign in the chat where you guys can donate towards the experience to elevate the show. And I use all donations for all things, you know, backstage. So we appreciate the donations. But yeah, you know, it's powerful. There's still a window there for all of us to be extremely successful. I think power comes in a village. Power comes in numbers. I've always been an advocate to work together because we're stronger through unification. That's why we decided to call this platform Unified Media.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, we hold on to those values, those principles, and apply those things every day, especially when we have these conversations weekly. I wouldn't have it any other way. You brothers are an inspiration to me. You know, when I get off here, you know, my mind is running on 100. Then I follow up with my business coordinators on TikTok, you know, and all the wonderful community that we've grown through Unified Media. The fact that 6 degrees of separation, that interaction, Aki, which led us, all three of us right here, 3 peas in a pod, so to speak. And it created business for me and my family. And I want you guys to understand something genuinely and wholeheartedly. Without our interaction and without us putting together this thing, I wouldn't be able to provide for my family. And because now I'm able to provide in my family, yes, was it my pillow that I put together as an investment? Was it my time and my effort in streaming on TikTok and YouTube? Yes. But I will never take away from what you guys have applied to this platform with me, ever take that away from y'all. And because of you, brothers, and everybody in this chat that I deal with every single day on a personal level, I provide for my family. And with that, I want you guys to understand that when I'm successful, we're all successful. I thank you guys so much for that.
Man, you're welcome, Maki. Yeah, I just wanted to put that out here. You know, I don't do this for just the money, man. I signed up and wanted this opportunity for me because I knew this is something I enjoy. I really enjoy this. You know what I'm saying? I get out of here monetary wise. I get follows. I get, you know, additional people following me. You know, I don't look forward to the money. I definitely do know that there's going to come, but I really do enjoy doing this and sharing my experiences and talking with you fellas and especially with you, JR, you know what I'm saying? Because I know that we have valuable conversation, right? Mm-hmm. But the mere fact that the fear that what you can tell that we don't really try to do this for money. We do it because we truly enjoy it. Is because we're in our 4th season.
Right. And we haven't made no money off of this yet.
Not made nothing. And we're still going. Do you know how many episodes we're down? And this between two podcasts, we do two shows. We don't
Right.
just do Dropping Gems. We do Center Stage as well.
Yeah.
We have over
100 episodes.
100 episodes that are over a hour. Some of them are 2 hours long of watch time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Powerful stuff, bro.
We get up and do this all of the time when we really enjoy doing this, and those of you who support us and show it and provide and you truly don't understand the appreciation that we got for
100%.
you, because we're not asking you to do that, but we appreciate for you to do that. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
We leaving it open for you, and those good hearts that would like to, you have the opportunity, because see, again, we're not here to take from you, but we're here to, if you want to support and show your appreciation for the value you're receiving, you're going to provide some monetary value towards this episode. And again, like JR said, whatever you present to this, it goes back into us and the podcast and what better experience we can give you with that. You get what I mean? Getting more internet speed, getting upgrading the computer for a better laptop, getting a better
cameras,
video cameras, right? Microphone if needed, a different
we
streaming service.
We did all that about 2 years into podcasting. Me and Aki, everything that we received through the nature of streaming, we threw it right back into the business and upgraded everything. That I even went ahead and I upgraded my internet fiber optics. That way we don't have no hiccups.
See, and that's a part of like pushing back, like putting back into what you believe in, fund what you love. Yeah.
Love.
Like that's marketing right there.
And it's just before I get up out of here, because I gotta get to my household. Serve, such a pleasure and honor for you to join us on our episode, season 4, episode 3. And the reason why I say it's a pleasure and honor is because 4 and 3 make 7, and 7 is a perfect number. So this was a perfect episode. Anytime you have me, you, and Serve on this thing, it
amplifies even more.
It goes crazy, right? I mean, me and you do it enough, JR. But when we get Serve on here, it's that extra.
You know what I'm saying?
He brings what he brings to it, and it really elevates the experience here. And you know what I'm saying? So we appreciate you. Shout out to you, sir, and keep doing your thing. Great. Glad that you made the decision to leave relationships and leave dealings with people, so therefore you can heal yourself from being, how do we say, mentally indoctrinated, right? You know what I'm saying? They were trying to tell you to make you and coerce you into being something you're not, and you found it in yourself to go, you know what, that's not healthy, I'm out of here on that. I can't let you do that to me, because that shows a true testament and true appreciation to me and JR for you having to do what you needed to do without taking someone else's negativity and then utilizing it against us. Like somebody tell you, like that's the same with me. If somebody was trying to speak ill on Serve, I had to go, nah, bro, you don't know what you're talking about. And I'm going to dismiss myself from you, because I can see this is, if you're going to be like that and you're talking about somebody else, I know you're going to do that to me. So let me dismiss myself from you. You know what I'm saying? So appreciate you for that. This was definitely a great episode, because see, the thing about it is moving forward. These are certain things you just have to learn how to move forward. I don't want to deal with people who are not willing to move forward, right? Who are not willing to progress. My name, Asael, it means to be advanced. My whole notion and a part of me and my character and who I am as a person is to always be an advanced individual, whether that be in me advancing in my career, advancing in my music, advancing in my ability to communicate, becoming an advanced and into individual where my intellect is advancing at a rapid pace. You know what I'm saying? Always taking and advancing to the next and going on to the next progression, never staying stagnant. So, I appreciate you fellas. I got love for both of you all. And of course, you can, if you need, if you can, even if you don't want to, you know what I'm saying, I'm always a phone call away to just chop it up. And, you know what I'm saying, if you need to have, or you have a question, or you need some advice, or you need some direction, that's me. That's what my nature, that's my purpose is. My name is whom Yahweh has brought into existence, endowed with law, and has appointed as a builder of the family name. So I live out my name when I do this every day.
Powerful stuff. Powerful. If there's one thing, Serve, that you can take from this episode, and everybody in the chat, please type it out if you can, if you have a moment. If there's one thing that you can take from this episode, Serve, what would that be?
Progression starts within. It starts with you. You know, sometimes people don't understand that some people wouldn't have a dream unless you had a nightmare. It's like that right there. That's some powerful shit. I was like, some people would not have a dream unless you had a nightmare. And a lot of us don't realize that, but like even some of the movies, you ever notice that when you're in your darkest times, that's what motivates you to rise up and step into your divinity. Because like you've already reached the bottom, so the only place you can go is up. And it's either you're gonna quit or that. Because like even with your friendships can go ahead and make you or break you. It's like a grindstone. Now, is this gonna pulverize you, or this going to push you to pursue you? One of the amazing things that I saw that you did, JR, was when you talked about your sister. And when I listened to that song, Man in the Mirror, that's my go-to song. That's what hypes me up every single time. Before I even go to work, I'm like, bro, this song is this is my amp. Like that's like a battery. That is my fucking theme song. When people are like, I go ahead and tell you, I'm like, JC, I know you mad at me. But when I heard that Man in the Mirror, Vision was speaking clear. I was like, oh yeah, he got something. This brother got something. Yep. And I said, he hungry. And that's why I said that's the hunger. So what I learned from this episode today, my brothers, is you have to do for you. In order for you to move forward, does it hurt enough? That's how you move forward. Does it hurt enough, ladies and gentlemen? Because if it hurts enough, then you will move forward. And that is, I want to say, my closing remark towards this. I use like a quote. Yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. But today is a gift. And that's why it's called the present.
Powerful stuff, guys. You brothers be safe. I'm gonna let everybody go real quick on this last note. I just want to point out some of the stuff in the chat, and I'll end the stream. God appointed this time for me to watch. Thank y'all so much. Such a powerful episode. Starts with you and yourself. I'm moving to a greater and better life. Everything was powerful tonight. Bettering yourself before helping someone else, and loving yourself. Powerful stuff, fellas. Appreciate y'all so much. Everybody have a wonderful, wonderful Sunday evening. Stay blessed. And if you guys enjoyed this episode, please share it out to a friend that may enjoy this discussion and may resonate with them in their lives. Take care. Protect your mind. Protect your peace. Protect your peace.
Always remember, unify.
Unify, baby.
Later.